MotoGP 25 is the latest MotoGP installment developed by Milestone. After the success of MotoGP 24, can 25 improve further on the franchise? MotoGP 25 is available now on all platforms including previous gen. For this review I have been playing the Series X courtesy of Play On UK and Milestone, so big thanks to them for the code. The new game includes all the bikes, teams and riders from the 2025 season. The MotoGP category has up-to-date liveries from day one, whilst Moto2 and Moto3 will receive future updates to add the 2025 liveries, just like previous games. The full 2025 calendar includes the brand new Balaton circuit, plus returning favourites such as Termas de Rio Hondo and Brno. The game has been built using Unreal Engine 5, giving higher fidelity compared to previous titles, resulting in bikes, riders and tracks looking the best they've ever looked. When I tested a preview build of the game a few months ago, I gave quite a lot of feedback which I'm happy to say has been listened to. The rider numbers, for example, in a preview build were way too small, but have been made bigger in the full game. For example, Quartararo's number in the preview build was way too small, but in the full game, it is as it should be, nice and big on the front of the bike. One of the major new improvements over previous titles are the bike sounds. They've been lacking in previous MotoGP games, being tweaked in between each game, but they've mostly remained the same. In MotoGP 25, however, the team at Milestone recorded the sounds of the actual bikes, resulting in much richer and realistic bike sounds. The MotoGP bikes produce over 250 horsepower, and now they have this sound to go with the improved sense of speed. The improved sound also translates to the track atmosphere, where the crowds are louder and bigger and react depending on what is happening on track, so you will hear more cheers when you overtake. Let's talk physics, the most important thing when it comes to bike games. The bike physics on MotoGP 25 feel like an evolution of MotoGP's 24's physics, and that's not a bad thing. This time, however, the bikes move around a bit more under heavy braking, and the rear slides out more under hard acceleration when cornering. Braking can take a bit of getting used to this time, as the brakes feel a bit more powerful than previous games, but the bikes stoppy way less. The front tyre, however, is way too forgiving. It's very difficult to lose the front whilst braking. Even applying the front brake fully whilst fully leant over doesn't cause much of an issue, when in reality this would spell a disaster and you would crash. I am pleased that the bikes feel more planted than in the preview build. This is another thing I gave feedback for. The MotoGP machines feel weighty, whilst the Moto3 bikes feel nimble through the corners. The curbs are much more user-friendly, so you no longer bounce all over the place, losing you valuable time, so feel free to finally use the curbs to your advantage. The helmet camera is okay and very usable. The issue that was in the preview build, where the trees looked all blurry and made me feel a bit nauseous, has been fixed, which is good. So yeah, it is much more usable now that that has been fixed. But I'm still quicker in third person than I am in helmet camera, and yeah, the visor still looks like it's just stuck onto the screen at the moment. If however you found the MotoGP games difficult to get into in the past, then I've got good news for you. The new arcade mode is exactly what you're looking for. This handling system, which you can choose in the main menu and the game experience menu, removes all the complicated systems such as bike setups, electronics, tyre wear and fuel consumption. The physics are simplified so you can just get on and race, plus you can add the additional rider aids to help you if you're still struggling. Career mode has had a slight revamp. As per the last few games, you can choose which category to start in, so if you want to skip Moto3 and Moto2, you can go straight into MotoGP. Happily, the rider transfer market, which was first introduced last year in MotoGP 24, is back, so riders will change teams, with certain riders able to change categories altogether. The player now has more control over bike development. After each race weekend, you'll sit down with your crew chief to have a conversation about where to concentrate bike development. They will put their own suggestions to you, but you can disagree with them. You now have control over the pit lane limiter, which is very handy during flag to flag races, so hopefully no more speeding in pit lane and getting a penalty for it, which did happen to me quite a few times. Another nice addition is the ability to look through the starting grid just before a race to see what tyres your rivals have opted for and change yours if you think they've got the better combination. During practice and qualifying sessions, you can also look to see if anyone has been given a penalty and what the penalty is for. The stewards are similar to last year's game, so you can have them on light or strict, and obviously penalties will be given out accordingly. Within career mode, you will find some new challenges in the form of Raceoff Events. In these, you pick from one of three disciplines: mini bikes, motard or flat track. You'll race against opponents and try to beat them to improve things like your relationship with a certain rider, or even improve your own rider's fitness. These races can also be played from the main menu, so if you fancy practicing a certain one, then you can. There's 2 tracks for mini bikes and motard and 2 separate tracks for flat tracking. All 3 disciplines are fun and play well. However, the track limits for the mini bikes and motard are way too strict. A lot of the time I found myself with time penalties just for touching the curbs, and you get half a second penalty per infringement, so they soon stack up. Rider customization is similar to previous games. You can choose from pre-made helmets, numbers and butt patches, or if you're creative, you can create your own and share them online. There is the addition of helmets and goggles for motard and flat track this time. And you can now choose your own pre-made podium celebration so things don't look too samey all the time, and you can change these whenever you want. So there's a few to choose from. You can preview all of them and then pick your favourite one. The adaptive AI is back from MotoGP 24, and this time they are quite similar to the previous game as well. It takes about 5 races to fully calibrate the AI to your standards and your pace, and then they will adjust their speed accordingly throughout the race. However, just like the previous game, there are a few issues where sometimes they will put in impossible lap times, especially in qualifying, or even in the race, making it very difficult to chase them down, or if you have a big lead, your lead gets eroded very, very quickly. Shout out to the minimap feature that now features a close-up version or a distant version, showing the full map. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to test the multiplayer as of yet, due to there not being any lobbies available, but the game does support full cross-play between console and PC for the first time. Unfortunately, this doesn't include the Nintendo Switch. This also means that more custom helmets, rider numbers, butt patches and leaderboard ghosts are now available for more people. So that's MotoGP 25, an evolution of MotoGP 24 with some added bells and whistles. I've had fun playing this year's game so far, and with some minor bug fixes and a tweak to the way too stable front end, the game can be even better. Now we've just got to wait for the Moto2 and Moto3 updates. And that's my review. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next video when we start career mode.
To watch them do battle.